Hey guys, so today I'm doing a shapeshifter that is based off of a butterfly. I basically saw this really cool interior design for this bed, and there was three different drawings, and they had really beautiful butterfly wings as the design for it. And then I also saw these poses and asked my friend which one should I choose. So that's why he has more of a straight pose, which I originally wasn't going to go for this. So this is Grayscale, that's his name. He actually is the partner of, if you haven't seen my previous video, it's in my drawings playlist, but it is for an orca shapeshifter, and her name is Fairy. I basically wanted to name them two different names that basically were for each of their partners. So Fairy, you would expect that this one was named Fairy, but it's a guy. But I decided to name her that, even though she's more of a monochromatic color scheme. It's more grays, blacks, and white. As for Grayscale, he's more colorful. So once you see what I do with his outfit, you'll notice I put so much bright colors on it. Here's my problem. When I was actually making this drawing, to be honest, I asked my friends 3 different reference photos. I was asking them which pose should I do, and they chose the one that was clearly it was AI art. The only reason why I chose that was because I really liked the pose and how the hair looked. However, I'm not really into AI art. I would say I don't like it, but because it's an anime style, the way it was done, I did look at it and think that pose would be nice. So that's what I was initially going for. I still think when it comes to art though, it should be made by people because of the emotion that you put into it when you're actually making the artwork. So yeah. Sorry if I'm coughing. I don't know why my throat is so bad right now. So yeah. For his hair, I decided to do different colors. I wanted to do purple and pink. Originally, I was just going to do one color, but I honestly didn't know what to do. And I was going to go for more natural colors. However, I didn't want his hair to be super dark, so I wanted something to kind of match his butterfly wings. So I'm highlighting it with some purple, but then most of his hair is actually a pink color when I get into coloring that. I tried to put as much detail as possible with the hairstyle because I was looking at the reference photo. One thing that I didn't like my friends choosing this picture though, to be honest, as a reference, was the fact that because it's so detailed and part of it looks a bit more realistic, yet at the same time anime and cartoony, the problem is it sets a higher bar and expectation for artists in general, how you want to draw something. And I'm someone who really wants to draw something with more proportions, to be proportionate and a bit realistic with the proportions. As for the anime style with the eyes and the face, of course it's a bit different. But yeah, it was kind of fun though to draw the hair. I always like drawing hair and learning how to make it more detailed looking, so this was something that was nice. However, it does look slightly a little bit different from how I normally would draw hair. So to be honest, you can kind of tell it's not completely in my own style. I honestly didn't want to go with so many different bright colors, but to contrast with the wings and just to match it, I went for that. I think in the end I used a bit too much pink, to be honest, more than I would like personally. I'm not a fan of so many pinks on everything, but since I don't do characters with pink that often, I thought it would work out because it's playing with colors that I normally don't use that much on a regular basis. Here I am shading it in. I have to like shade everything in for like the hair. And normally for hair, I use like 3 different shades to get it right. So it was more work because I decided to do purple highlights and then do pink for the rest of the hair. Why my voice is dying right now? I think it's because I drank pop and I need to clear my throat. I did like how the hair turned out though, in terms of like how it looks. It's a bit more detailed than I normally do, which is nicer because I kind of wanted to make sure that the hair always looks more detailed anyways. And here's where I start the pink. So actually his kimono is the same thing as fairies. I basically made both of them. Kind of their clothing is just based off of Scaramouche from Genshin Impact. I don't know why I was thinking about his kimono shirt so much to the point where I was like, I'm just going to use him as reference when it comes to the clothing, which I think looks super cool and a bit different. Now I will say, because of the color scheme, grayscale might look a bit feminine. More than I would like him to be, but I didn't want him to be like super edgy looking just because I wanted something to match with his wings. Also, he's a guy, so it was a bit difficult to get like keep him looking more masculine. By the way, Grayscale is a straight character because his partner is Fairy, so they're both together. You can kind of think of the shapeshifters as in the same territory as like storyline for Silverwolf and what's her name again? I forgot his partner, but Silverwolf and Night Prowler, which is the werewolf and vampire couple that I drew, like that I created. They are in my drawings playlist. If you want to see them, it's just like a bit further into my drawings playlist because it's been a while since I actually drew them. I've only made like 6 characters, including these guys so far, for that type of like shapeshifter line that I'm drawing. So I didn't want to go with shading it with just plain gray because I feel like there would be too much gray going on, especially if I put him next to Fairy, the orca. So I decided to make it that for the shading of the actual like kimono shirt and everything, I wanted the white parts to be shaded in as blue. So that's why there's so much blue on it, and I thought that would match the wings more, to be honest. So that's why I went for that. I kind of did like a double sleeve thing. So like there's a short sleeve coat on top of like a long sleeve like kimono style outfit. But then again, I also didn't want to do too much blue because I knew the wings were kind of going to be blue to begin with, just because I was following the references that I had for it. Here I'm just shading in more blue. I think, yeah, I made the pants blue, but I didn't make the actual like shirt, like the inside shirt blue. I just kind of shaded it with the dark blue as well. Sorry if you can't see that bottom part. For some reason I thought it was in frame when I was coloring it, and I kind of get carried away sometimes where it's like it's not in frame, but I keep coloring thinking that it is. So here's where I'm trying to color in the wings. Honestly, it was difficult to draw these wings even. I was so afraid, like when I was drawing it, to be honest, it kind of looked more like bird wings, and I was trying to stray away from that as much as possible. But like they still kind of do look like bird wings. It's really difficult to get like the patterns of like the butterfly wings without it looking like bird wings, especially because I'm so used to just drawing bird type angel wings rather than these like bug type wings. I think I did a better job on the right side, which I'm like coloring right now a bit, in terms of just making the pattern look a bit more sporadic and not like it's planned out. As for the left side, I think I still kept it the way it was, and it just looks kind of like bird wings, like how I would do feathers, but just more like uneven. I decided I wanted to shade in as much as possible for the wings and just make sure that it's like it goes from like a gradient for each piece. I kind of did it a bit messily though, like it kind of looks a bit messy the way I did it. It's not that smooth and nice looking compared to like if you've ever seen like butterfly wings. I definitely think this is one of the more difficult things to color in. I've been playing around with a lot of characters that have more like translucent pieces on them, and this one is more so you can see the colors and it's more transparent, but sorry, not transparent, but more opaque, but it just feels like it's a bit difficult with the shading. Here I am trying to shade it in with like a darker blue. I think the right side looks way better than the left side. I don't know why, like I couldn't get it right at all, but the right side I know I went back and revised it, and then the left side I kind of just left it like that thinking it would be okay, but it doesn't look that quite right. Also, the scaling with the wings was a bit difficult too, just like making it scaled proportionately with the body. I feel like these wings are much smaller than how I intended them to be, but I didn't want to make them too big because I was already struggling with like thinking about how I was going to color it in and how like to draw the patterns. And now it's time for outlining, so I'm just starting to outline everything. The face wasn't quite what I wanted. I guess with like that type of art style, especially AI art, when you do like the anime stuff, it looks more like well blended, like the paints and everything. Like it's mainly digital, but it looks very well blended and super smooth. But the face that I drew doesn't look as smooth as it. And also, I didn't want the chin to be super round, but it was like following the reference. So it wasn't completely my style. I know like when I draw like chins, they're more pointier because they're more like anime style. He wasn't originally completely smiling, but it kind of looks like he is now, so that's what it's gonna be. Overall, I would say I do like how this drawing turned out, but there needs to be a few tweaks when it comes to it. But I think this was a good like first attempt at something completely different, like the butterfly wings. But I definitely prefer using like other like fan art rather than just looking at like AI art. Like I'm still kind of against it just because AI art is like there's hardly any emotion when you like compile those types of drawings together. Also, I feel like you always have to give credit to artists when they're drawing. So if you like compile things together and then you don't give any credit to these people that you took the art from, it's kind of really bad. So in my opinion, I always prefer like actual people doing this type of artwork. I know like some pieces can look really cool and really pretty. However, I do still like want artists to like have respect when it comes to like they actually took the time and effort and emotion into drawing certain things. He has a tassel on his belt and he has a little bow. It's kind of to match what Scaramouche has, but to be honest, I think it's a bit too cutesy for what I was going for. Especially because he looks like, because he has like butterfly wings. Originally, I wanted to do something more like hardcore and at the same time have butterfly wings, but it just turned out to be this like really pretty style, like a pretty boy. So I just played around with like outlining in terms of like making some lines thicker than others so that way it kind of looked more like butterfly wings. So I feel like this calligraphy pen was good for that because it's kind of like a brush tip, so you get to like play around with like the thickness of things. So this gave it more shape and definition, which looks nicer, and it's starting to give like the wings more shape. And that's basically it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check down in the description box below all my social medias there. I'll be posting pictures of grayscale there and also pictures of fairy as well. You can check out the drawings playlist and fairy will be there. I did like a drawing video of her as well before I did grayscale. And let me know if you guys like any like anime shows or like movies, like what your favorite characters are in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely look into like drawing new characters. I haven't got any requests recently, but I really want more cuz it's fun to like play around and see how like other characters would look in like my style. It's difficult though because I'm like only sticking like to certain characters because of what I like. But if I see other people liking certain things, it would be fun to like test out, like practice more artwork in that way. And here I'm just putting a couple like white dots on it on the wing to kind of make that pattern with the dots and make it look a little bit reflective and shiny. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.